Give one more round of applause to Bjarke. I will remind you that you can ask questions if anything was not clear or if you are curious. We have a Q&A session after the next two sessions. You can also still ask questions about the keynote. Just go to the session in the app. At the bottom, there's a Q&A button to ask questions. Next up, in a few minutes, we'll have Kristian Egebæk-Carlsen. Did I say that okay? No, okay. Who's going to talk to us all about the cloud, Umbraco Cloud portal, all the features that are in there. And I know I looked at it yesterday, and it's actually surprising what is in there. So hold that thought.
Sorry. Hello? Can you all hear me? Does my mic work? Good. It's a lot of technical stuff always to set up, so let's just give it some time to get it to work. All right? So it's good to be back. It's good to finally be on stage. I've been looking forward to this for a very long time. It's good to see all of you, and just happy to be here in Odense for Codegarden with you guys. So, just a second. What the hell? I literally just tested this, so bear with me 1 second. What the hell does this? Okay. There's a spare clicker. Why is there so much? No? Or maybe it's just... Yep, there we go. Sorry about that. Hello, I am Kek. I'm the head of the Cloud Experience Group at Umbraco. My real name is not Kek, that's what Sebastian mentioned. My real name is Kristian, but Umbraco is growing, and the name Kristian is very, very popular in Denmark, so we have a lot of Kristians in Umbraco now, so we need to figure out names for the rest of us. Kek is also my email, is the abbreviation of my 3 names, so that was what I would become. I'm not going to talk so much about what Head of Cloud Experience means, I'll do that later, but, and I'm not going to talk so much about myself because I'd rather talk about Umbraco Cloud, that's why we're here. So last year, I had a talk at Codegarden. It was called The Portal, What Can It Do For You? That was when we were virtual, maybe some of you saw it. So what can the portal do for you? So we built Umbraco Cloud with the intention to alleviate some of the work for you that's lying around having an Umbraco site. So we did some investigations back in 2014, and we saw that the best agencies, the very best, they spend about 8 to 12% of their time doing other stuff than building Umbraco when they're building Umbraco, such as hosting, managing infrastructures, users, and stuff like that. So we thought we would help with that. So what we built Umbraco Cloud on principles was it should be easy and quick to start. We should have updates available for the CMS, which should be smart. We should have easy deployments between environments. It should be managed. It should be able to manage your teams, and we should be able to still work as a team, so work more than one person at the project at the time. This was the very basic idea of Umbraco Cloud. So what do we mean when we say that? What do we mean today? What can the portal do for you today? Well, we have fast setup. 3 clicks, write your project name, then you have a project. We have baselines, which is a very cool feature. We know that a lot of you have some Umbraco base builds that you put into all of your websites. It's document types you use, it's specific data types that you like in your agency. It's your own implementations for CEO or logging or stuff like that. So you need to put that into all of your websites. In Umbraco Cloud, you can put that into one website and then use that to spin up a new website, which is a complete copy of this website. It means that you click, create, you choose your parent as your baseline parent, and then your project is ready with everything that you have on your parent as well, meaning that your base build is just pushed very easily. Once you have one, you can create more, and you can create more. You can keep creating from the same parent. And just like all other software, your base build is evolving. It's going to change over time. Maybe you add something new features, maybe you fix some bugs and some security things. So how do you manage that here? Well, you can click one button and then updates are sent to all of your child projects. You can also separate these updates. You can send them to the specific projects you want to send, and if you want, you can break the link between the parent and the child if for some reason you don't want this connection to be established anymore. Smart upgrades. We know it's time-consuming to keep your projects upgraded. All software is hard to keep upgraded. I mean, we face it every day. We have dependencies in our code that runs out or new features are introduced. And what we did recently to keep one of our dependencies upgraded is we took a couple of our developers, put them in a room, a couple of days, threw in some cake, threw in some candy, threw in some Coke, and then they came out and they upgraded the dependencies on our services. But it's still time-consuming, and you need to plan it. Well, to keep the CMS upgraded in cloud, it's very easy. It's a one-click button, and then you go to the next minor, to the next minor, to the next minor, to the next minor, until you're out of minors, which is relatively fast with the new cadence of majors we have. Patches happens automatically. You don't have to worry. They'll be rolled out. Security patches and everything, they happen automatically. That's smart. You would most likely not like to do changes directly in your live code. At least I think we've all tried it and thought, I could just do this little change. And then everything explodes, and you have a website that's down, you have code that's not working, and everyone is really angry. So you have several environments that you work on. In Umbraco Cloud, we have standard, development, staging, and live environment. That's good, but what if you want to, you make some changes to the development environment, you need to push that through your pipeline. In Umbraco Cloud, it's one click. You add your changes to development, you click, and then you push the upgrades down through your environments as you please. So you've added the code, you've pushed the code. What else is in Umbraco? Well, there's content in Umbraco. And you also want to be able to push that easily. That's why Umbraco Cloud comes with deploy. On each project you spin up, on all plans we have, deploy is included. So if you have content editors not doing content on your live environment, for example, they do it on the staging, then they go into the backup, they click 2 buttons, and then they deploy all their content to the live, and then the live site is ready. It also works the other way around. So you're a developer, you're developing a new feature on your development environment, but you want to test it, and you want to see how does it work with the current content, and how does it look, how does it feel, if it's UX or UI. You deploy can also restore the other way. So it's 2 buttons in the development environment. You click it, you restore from the live, and then you have all the live content on your development side. Team management. So if you have a lot of Umbraco projects, you know that we've seen agencies having one user for everything. They just log in everywhere with the same user. Not ideal. We have also seen that people use different passwords for different setups and installations, so they have to go into one project to work. They're like, oh, what was this password? In Umbraco Cloud, you have one user, and once you invite it into the cloud, that's the user that we add to all the projects. And with Umbraco ID, there's single sign-on. So once you're logged into cloud and you go to the back office of your projects, you're automatically just logged in. You don't have to see the login screen, don't have to enter your credentials again, you just move on. Local development. So often you don't work one person at one feature or one project. You need to be able to work more than one. And you don't want to do that in a shared environment always, because then someone makes a change, someone doesn't have a change, you have to call him, get him to pull down your changes, etc. So with Umbraco Cloud, because all our environments underneath the website, there's a Git repository handling the files for the projects. That means that you can clone it down exactly like you want, exactly like you used to if you use Git, so Git clone, and we give you the URL, and then you clone it down. It means that all your team can work on things simultaneously, and once they have finished their task, they do what you regularly do, you use git push to push the changes back again. And even better, as soon as you clone it down and you boot up Umbraco, it creates a local database for you if you want, it creates a local database. So every change you make is only local, it's only on your machine. The changes does not affect anything before you push it back in. If you want to use a shared database, you just change the connection string in your application settings, and then you use the shared database. Good. So this is what the portal can do for you currently. So today's talk is about what did it do for you. Last year I did what can it do for you, so it's natural to follow up with, well, what did it do for you? So we're looking back a year. And I have to say this has been the most exciting time to work at Umbraco Cloud since I started in 2018. So what did it do for you this year? Well, as you may have heard, we introduced a whole new platform. We took what we had, said, nah, and then we scrapped it, and then we built a totally new platform, new microservice architecture, new code stack, new everything. CMS was also upgraded. It started many years ago, and we wanted to upgrade to what was then called .NET Core, now .NET 5. We took that, put it on cloud as well, new tech stack, and then on top of that, we added CDN powered by Cloudflare, which we have a very good relationship with as well. So, new platform, CMS upgraded to newest tech stack, and will continue to follow the newest tech stack. And CDN on top means that we have the most stable Umbraco Cloud that we've ever had before. And this is what we did for you this last year, partly. So this is relatively new. The last project on Umbraco Cloud was migrated to the new platform February. And what else we did, which isn't Umbraco Cloud, but it's something to help you, to help Umbraco Cloud become better in the future. We looked at our organization, and we thought, if you are familiar with Conway's law, it's something along the lines that if you have a shitty organization, you're going to build shitty software. Simple as that. I'm not saying our software is shitty, but we did at least consider thinking that, maybe we should consider reorganizing ourselves so that we could produce better software at least. So before that, we had one cloud team to do everything. That's why the whole cloud team was working on building the new platform, and we were also trying to fix bugs and features in the portal, and so we kind of stretched ourselves all the time. Our developers, one moment you could work on the platform, the next moment you could work on what color a button should be. So when you stretch time and brains and people and developers like that over time, eventually they get tired and they get unfocused and unconcentrated, and it takes longer for them to produce something, it takes longer for us to get things in production, and the quality just steadily goes down. So we looked at that, and what we did was we updated the organization. We created two groups specifically for Umbraco Cloud. One is the platform group, and the other is a cloud experience group. So the platform group is led by my good friend and colleague, Morten Christensen. He'll be here talking about hardcore. And why would he talk about hardcore when he's the head of the platform group? Well, that's because hardcore is so much more than just API to get content. We built a whole new platform underneath in order to serve the content fast and quick and reliable also. So hardcore is actually also a platform that we built. Next to that, the platform group is also responsible for building the new platform and maintaining the new platform that we have set up for Umbraco Cloud. Cloud Experience Group, we are focused on giving you the best experience using Umbraco Cloud. So that's why it's called experience. We have two main focus. We have the developer experience and we have the agency experience. So what would you like for a developer, your experience to be working with Umbraco Cloud, and what would you like for your experience as an agency to work with Umbraco Cloud? So that's good. We made two groups, took one team, made two groups. Not only that, instead of expanding vertically throughout the organization, we put smaller teams into these groups, which means that we have a hardcore platform team and we have a cloud platform team. And what that has enabled us to do is to have teams that are focused, that are concentrated, and only concern themselves with a single domain of the whole Umbraco Cloud, meaning that they are better, smarter, faster, stronger, and has the potential to create and fix everything and push stuff much faster with much better quality. So we're not stretching anyone anymore. We do the opposite. We let them focus on something and become really, really, really good at it. The same with the Cloud Experience Group. We're going to do a developer experience team, and we're going to do an agency experience team, so that they all know exactly what their target group is. They know what do we need to do to make this a better experience for the agency part only. They don't have to consider all the other stuff. They don't have to think about the platform. We've got that covered by good people. This was rolled out in March, so a little later than the platform. So that's a lot of new stuff since Christmas. We've added the head of roles. As I said, Morten is the head of the platform group. I'm the head of the cloud experience group. And what does that mean? Well, it means that now we have dedicated roles to do something we've never done in Umbraco Cloud before. We are designed and dedicated to get input from you and figure out and talk to you to figure out what is it actually you need. I'm talking developer experience, but I'm not a developer using Umbraco Cloud. You are. So we need someone to gather this input. So we started to look into product management for our products. It's like, yes, we've never done that in Umbraco before. It sounds so simple, but we've never done it in Umbraco Cloud. We've added product owners across the division. Right now we have Søren, who's the product owner of the Cloud Experience Group. We have Lasse, who's the product owner of the CMS. These product owners are helping the product management. So once we figure out what to do, they help us figure out, well, how should we then do it? Right? So it's easy to say, we want this. Okay, you want that. Good. So we start building it. 6 months later, we're like, yes, we did it, shipped it. And then you're like, that's not what we wanted. So we have the product owners now to also assist throughout the phases to build what you mean and what we know that you want. They're there to figure it out. Good. So what did the portal do for you? What did Umbraco Cloud do for you? We have the stable organization now. It's in place. It's super sharp. We're dedicated. We have a completely new platform ready, meaning happy cloud. As I said, this happened 3 months ago, 4 months ago. This is all relatively new. But with the new organization and with the new platform being ready and to push features on, we have produced more features for Umbraco Cloud the last 3 months than we have done the last 6 years. I'm not joking, that's true. So what did happen? What features did we push the last 4 months? Well, I can tell you that the local development has increased immensely with Umbraco 9, because Umbraco 9 is .NET 5. That means that when you clone your project down now, you'll see a completely different file structure. You'll see a file structure totally similar to if you started a new Umbraco project off cloud. That meaning that you can easily extend it, you can easily start working with it, you can add your classes, you can add your own code. Very, very easy. Deploy. We added a group for deploy also. We have Andy Butler and his team only working on deploy, so they've pushed out more features in the last half year than we then did since, I guess, deploy started. So what do we have? We have content comparison and schema comparison. The same with forms. Andy is also looking at forms. We have now forms in folders. Before we had forms in folders, you just had one folder that was forms and then all your forms. And some of you have many forms, I've seen it. Now you can structure them in folders, and even better, you can add your user groups to this, so you can manage your user roles and who has access to which forms. In the cloud, we have added management for the transport security. You can add TLS, you can add HTTP2 if you want. We have improved the invitation flow. Before, when you wanted to invite someone, you just said, I want to invite this person with this name, and I want him to have this message when I invite him. Now, you can add the user roles of not only in the cloud, on each environment, but also in the back office. We took something out of the back office and melded it into the cloud. So now we have the user groups available when you invite a person. Meaning you can invite a person, set the roles on everywhere you want to set the roles, they accept it, and then you're good to go. We have added some bandwidth usage details so you can see which sites, which URLs, which media on your website is most popular, and you can manage your data and your bandwidth, and you can see which media items takes up the most of my storage to give you a better overview on and handling your website. We've enabled client certificates from the file system. So our new platform is built on top of Azure, Microsoft Platform as a Service. In Azure, there's a lot of excellent features, right? And we want to pull those out and give them to you exactly what you need in the exact format that you need. So we receive this request that say, well, this would be nice to have. Fine, it sounds very good, let's do it. And now we have pulled out some of all the good features from Azure so that we can provide them easily to you. This one is probably one of my favorites, but we started to rework the whole UI of the cloud portal. And we did it by using our own Umbraco UI library. We're the first enterprise application running with UI library. We started back in January doing this, and we started using what we had of the UI library at that point. At that point, we needed an overlay to create the project member invite flow. So we did that. But as you see, there's many roles that you can now control, so we're going to need a scroll bar. The overlay didn't have that. So we just called Jacob, the head of the team lead of the front-end team, said, Jacob, we need a scroll bar in the overlay, and we got that. So this is one of the also examples how we've started to produce new things that is pushed back into some of the code that is open source and accessible and usable for you. Great collaboration between the cloud and the core. All right, so that's what we've been doing for the last 3 or 4 months. As I said, more than we have ever done, totally in Umbraco Cloud, since release, that is. Okay, so if you notice, I've changed it from the portal, what is it going to do for you, to Umbraco Cloud, what is it going to do for you? Because the portal is kind of this little, we don't know what it is, so the portal is Umbraco Cloud. Umbraco Cloud is more than just a portal. So Umbraco Cloud, what is it going to do for you? What are we working on right now? Dedicated resources. So you can get dedicated resources for your website on all our plans. You can set it up when you start. Say, this site I know requires a lot of dedicated computing. It's a heavy site, we need some CPU, we need some good memory. So we just put it on from the beginning, and then you pay for a year in advance, meaning that we can reserve the resources in Azure a year in advance, meaning it's going to be cheaper for you. But if you have a site and you expect a lot of incoming traffic over a weekend, for example, you can just click a button and then move your site to dedicated, add some computing power, use it over the weekend, and once traffic starts to slow down, you just move it back. And then you only pay for what you use. We're doing regional data centers, as I certainly heard. I actually saw the first environment being spun up on US East last week. And once we have US East, who's to say where we go next? For fun, we call it Umbraco Cloud in a pocket because it's going to be so easy deployable that we can deploy it all around the world. Where should we deploy it next? You can decide. Just write us where you wanted to see a data center and we can deploy it relatively soon. But US East is coming soon. Lastly, if you have logged in the portal, you have seen this. This is where you see your projects and they're managed. Holy, okay. I'm going to skip this then, sorry. Okay, so you can see there's a lot of good stuff going on, but there's something missing, right? You have seen what have we done, what are we doing kind of now, so what's next? And I don't mean what's next, I mean what's next. What are we going 2023, 2024, what do we do? We don't have a roadmap. We have ideas, automatic scaling, load balancing, configurable build pipelines, bring your own Git repository, schedule upgrades. And those are all our ideas, but that's how we've been doing it. We've just added head of roles, we've added product owners, so what we really need to hear from is you, and you, and you, and also you in the back. We want to hear from you, like literally. Let me give you a quick example. So this project dashboard that we are building right now, we hired a product owner, Søren, and Søren came with like 67,000 years of experience as a product owner, and we just told him, do what you do best. So he started to look at it, he engaged with you, he wrote with you, and then he got some feedback, and then everyone wanted a new project dashboard. So he said, fine. So that's the part of saying, what is it that they want? So now he started to collect input and synthesize these inputs and say, well, what should it look like then? And he made a plan for us. This is an actual plan from our documentation. We were like, could you make plan before you make software? We didn't know, totally new for us. But he put in plans, he put in releasables, he put in milestones. And the milestone one we reached within the time that we should, also completely new to us, managing a deadline. And what we did then, we invited some of the people he had collected input from and did user observability test. So he, Søren and Julia, our head of our UX design lead, they sat down, they gave this to someone, and then they just watched them use it. So we're doing a continuous feedback loop now. So not only do we want to hear what you want, we also hear how you want it, and we would also like to have you involved in the process while we make it. We really like that. So get in touch. How can you do that? Codegarden. I'm here on Codegarden. We have a Cloud Corner, which you can find by clouds in the sky, and then there's a corner. It's right behind the scene, and if you're still confused, it's right next to the bar, so I'm sure you'll stop by at some point. Come ask us. Come talk to us. Come see what we can set up. We can set up demos. We can set up, we can show you what the cloud can do now. We can set up feedback sessions with you at an agency. Søren would like to come visit. He would like to hear from you. Otherwise, if you don't see each other at Codegarden, get in touch. I'm Kek at umbraco.dk. Søren is Sai at umbraco.dk. And we really mean get in touch. We'll answer you as soon as we can, which is really soon, really, really fast. I promise. We really want to hear from you, and we mean that, because we need your help to build the next features and make Umbraco Cloud even better. Thank you. Oh, you should have.
Kristian.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Definitely, I'm going to email you every day about my Nigerian cousin.
You should.
Good. Thank you once again, Kek. Give him a big round of applause. And the same for Kek. Go to his session, go to the bottom, tap on the Q&A button to ask further questions if you need to know anything more.